got the best riders in the world pinching him in there with Wyndham, Reed, Villeman, Langston, Nick Way, all to his left. He's going to have some hard time getting to that first turn.
You pick by where you qualify or how early you qualify, and he's all the way to the inside. Reed had second pick, Wyndham first. They're side by side, and the board is sideways.
250 main event from Houston, Texas. Grant Langston with a great inside line, but it's 22. Chad Reed will pick up the Butterfinger hole shot. Chad Reed making no doubt about it. Looked like Langston had the right line, but he didn't have the drive coming out, and Reed just slingshotted to the outside. So Chad Reed leading him into the first part of this opening lap, 250 main. We're going 20 laps. It's Reed and Langston going 1 and 2.
Well, Jamie talked about the ruts, so let's see if they play a part of this. What happens with the ruts? It makes it hard to choose your line sometimes. If you get a little cross-threaded, it's going to throw you off. It might set off your timing. Where there's been flat corners, there's ruts developing, and that was one of the spots as they go over the triple. Chad Reed has been perfect in the whoops. Let's see how he rails them here.
Reed absolutely blitzing the whoop section. He brings it around, so he will be the first to see the green flag. We're going 20 laps, 250 main from Houston. Chad Reed out in front, number 22 on the Yamaha. Grant Langston, number 8 on the KTM, sits in second, and number 27, Nick Way on the Suzuki, sits in third as we take a look at the Butterfinger hole shot replay.
We talked about how Chad was lined up with Kevin Wyndham. Another good start for Eric Vallejo, but Chad Reed just gets it and nails that hole shot. Has great line all the way through. Only rider able to triple out of it in that rhythm section as well.
Chad Reed, absolutely one of the smoothest riders out there. He always hits everything almost exactly right. You got to get him early, folks, because this guy is absolutely perfect when he gets a bit of a lead. Right now, he's got a sizable lead as we go back to the pack. Langston sits in second, number 8 on the KTM, and here comes Kevin Wyndham, number 14, on board the Honda, fresh off his appeal, picking up his 10 points. Look at the drive he's got to the whoops.
Picking up a spot, maybe here. Nick Way going outside in, and he gets it done. He needs to get through these guys as quick as possible if he wants to battle with Chad Reed. He had a better time in his heat race, but maybe that was because he was being chased by Villeman and Chad might have cruised. But right now, moving up into third place, he needs to work quick.
Chad Reed, number 14, on board the Honda. He's on a 4-stroke out of Centerville, Mississippi. Grew up in Texas, so he's got a lot of fans here rooting for him. We saw him fast in practice, not as fast as we thought. Is this a case of him kind of sandbagging where you think, well, I'm going to lay low, I'm not going to show everyone my lines, Cameron? Or do you think he just kind of takes a while to build up a full head of steam?
Well, he was about 3/4 of a second off, so I don't think sandbagging was a factor here. Maybe, but I'm not sure. Kevin loves to play the mental game. His mechanic, Jonathan Highland, said, hey, a lot of what we do is mental. Kevin has been on his game, and he looks good right now. He's not catching Grant Langston that quickly, but they are staying within reach of Chad Reed.
And that's the key right now. Grant Langston on that last drive towards the right-hand turn took a look over his shoulder, and Kevin Wyndham is coming. Here comes Wyndham on the inside. He triples through there. Langston has no answer for him, and it's Wyndham who shuts the door.
And on that last lap, the fastest lap went to Kevin Wyndham. Reed just a little bit off, so Kevin Wyndham may be reeling in just a little bit, but now he has clear sailing in front of him. May be able to pick up his pace just a little bit.
If it was anyone else, I'd say Kevin Wyndham's going to get him eventually, but Chad Reed is so smooth in these situations. I think what you pointed out, Cameron, is the mental aspect. If Kevin can get close enough to Chad to make him start thinking, make him start questioning his line, I think he's got a shot, but Chad is so absolutely smooth in these kind of races, Kevin's going to have to put some serious pressure on him. Here's the battle for fourth. Excuse me, Cameron. That's Nick Way, number 27 on the Suzuki. Mike LaRocco, number 5 on the Honda, and LaRocco's going to get him.
Gets around, using some good moves outside in. We talked about it being his birthday weekend. He'd love to get back on the podium, and sitting in fourth place right now is a good spot, but he's going to have to move quickly to get up towards the front. And the Rocket has liked this track. When I talked to him, he said he likes it. If the ruts develop, it's good for him. He kind of likes it that way, and it's a tougher track for the other guys to race on.
Mike LaRocco with a great podium last week in San Francisco. Nick Way, can't say enough about this guy. He's got a lot of pressure on him. He's riding for the Suzuki camp. A lot of guys injured there. It's been well documented, but Nick Way has come on and has been a real bright spot for Roger DeCoster and Suzuki.
On that last corner, you saw Mike LaRocco go to the inside like most guys are. Nick Way going to the outside. He gives up time there. You don't need to go to the outside to get that obstacle. That's one thing you got to look at. If you can get the obstacle from the inside, usually it's going to be faster that way.
So Nick Way, number 27, currently sits in 5th place as we take a look at a quick running order. Reed, Wyndham, Langston, LaRocco, and Way, your top 5. This is the 250 main event from Houston, Texas. We'll have much more in just a moment. Can Kevin Wyndham reel in Chad Reed and pick up another win? We'll find out after this. Welcome back to Houston, a scary scene. Just moments ago, Grant Langston just launched off the track. His number 8 KTM going over there. There's Doc Bodner, Asterisk Medic Doctor, on the scene right now. It's good to see Grant's legs are moving. He's fine, but that is straight up concrete. Let's look at it one more time.
Misjudges that, gets a little sideways and grabs the throttle going over the berm. Sometimes we call it whiskey throttle. When you just kind of grab it, you can't control it. And Grant landing on that concrete ever so hard. And we can only hope the best for Grant Langston. And
wow. You know, I think if there was any kind of padding down there, any dirt, I think he would have bounced back. But that is straight up concrete here at Relighting Stadium, and he just launched right onto it. Back to our leader. Chad Reed continues to lead here in the 250 main event. He's got a pretty good lead, but Kevin Wyndham's starting to inch up a little closer.
Well, the last lap, half a second faster for Kevin Wyndham. So he's pulling up on your leader right now. The gap back, we'll check it as they go through the timing area.
Very close. Reed pulls down a 51.7. Reed at 51.7. Wyndham at 51.2. That's a half second he's picking up on it, Cameron. Now, has this become a question of fitness, do you think? And which of these two guys do you think is a better fit?
Well, that's a tough call. I mean, it does come down to fitness, but both of these guys, great trainers, doing a great job. I think that Kevin rides his bike a little harder. Chad finesses it a little bit more. Will that come into play? It could, but right now, Kevin looks like he's pulling up on our leader.
Chad Reed has won 4 of the last 6 races. Kevin Wyndham has picked up 2 victories this year. And these are 2 guys completely opposites of the spectrum. Both of them extremely talented. The 2 best riders maybe on the planet right there. You might want to throw James Stewart in there as well. But Chad and Kevin, they have just formed a great rivalry. They have a lot of respect for each other. But Chad Reed right now has his hands full, and this is to the advantage of Kevin Wyndham. We talked about it earlier in the year, especially in Phoenix. He'd much rather be the pursuer than the pursuee.
And he doesn't get that triple through the rhythm section. I'm trying to look and see where Kevin's really making up his time on Chad. And it looks like just some of the acceleration, the 4-stroke maybe hooking up just a little bit better in some spots. So that could be a spot where he's picking it up.
As we slide back, we'll leave our leaders right now and go back to the battle for 4th right now. It's Nick Way and David Villeman who sits in 5th place. Mike LaRocco comfortably in 3rd. So Way has got his hand full right now, and David Villeman, number 12, on board the Yamaha. Michael Byrd also trying to get in there, running the colors for Kawasaki. And Nick Way, number 27, look at that. Villeman just squares him off.
Just gets inside of him, and these guys are battling it out. And Villeman, who had a great heat race trying to chase down Kevin Wyndham, he needs to get on the gas and keep making moves. A great pass right there on Nick Way. Great run through the whoops, and Villeman always showing the speed. The start not being good for him tonight, and that's going to be unfortunate with Reed and Wyndham out front.
Mike LaRocco currently sits in 3rd. As we take a look at number 22, that is your leader, Chad Reed. He got the Butterfinger hole shot. He is led throughout. However, number 14, Kevin Wyndham, who has been a thorn in his side, is coming up as he comes into view right there. The lead right now down to about 25 yards. Kevin Wyndham on the gas. And Cameron, it looks like Chad Reed has spaced it out just a little bit. As we take a look at the lap times, the last lap time, it was Chad Reed checking in with a 51.7 and Wyndham with a 51.2.
So trying to find places where they can make up time, but again, you see that triple by Wyndham, but they're not really pulling up. He's not really pulling up on Reed, so it's kind of just a really tight battle. No one really, a little bit of give, a little bit of take from each rider, but no one really making a huge move.
And I think this is one of those races, and maybe you would agree, Kevin's going to need a mistake from Chad to make a move on him. He's going to need some kind of missing a shift or something because he's just not right now getting the job done. As we take a look at the last lap time, Chad pulls out a 52.02 and Wyndham a 52.7. So there's Kevin Wyndham currently sitting in 2nd, trying to track down Chad Reed. Right now, let's check in with Jamie Little.
Standing next to Kevin Wyndham's mechanic, it says 9 laps, study his lines. Guys, he also told him to catch his breath. He looks like he's getting a little tight.
Well, that answered that question right now. Maybe Kevin Windham, we've seen him in the past. Jamie's alluded to it. He looks so fit after these races. Over halfway, Cameron, we got 8 laps to go. It'll be interesting to see what kind of tactics Kevin Windham implores.
Well, you saw him in those last couple straights. He actually tagged a couple of landings coming just a little bit short. Not exactly the way he wants to. In Supercross, that's really going to cost you. Just maybe a quarter of a second here, quarter second there. I mean, if you're losing a second of a lap, that is a real problem.
And it's been a tough week for Kevin Windham. He left the race last week from San Francisco where he didn't pick up the victory. A little disappointed there. Went to Ohio, had to appeal his 10 points in front of the AMA. Unfortunate for him, he got him back. Then he goes back and he comes right down to Houston, Texas. So the man has been busy all week and maybe he hasn't been on the bike enough.
Well, that could also be a factor that he lives really close by, only about 5 hours by car. We talked about that. Maybe there's a lot of family, a lot of things going on, and again, coming just a little bit of a tag there. Got to remember, smooth at all times, and that is how Chad Reed has been consistently winning.
So Kevin Windham inside that helm is frantically trying to figure a way to close in on Chad Reed, who continues to lead. We'll find out if Kevin Windham comes up with the right combination or if Chad Reed lets him in. But so far, the Australian has looked smooth with no mistakes. Stick with us. We'll be back with more from Houston, Texas, as we take a look at our running order. Welcome back to Houston, Texas. This is the 250 main event. You are looking at number 14, Kevin Windham, currently sitting in second place, trying to track down number 22, Chad Reed. And the gap, unfortunately, is getting a little bigger. The last lap time, Reed checked in with a 52.2, and Kevin Windham a 53.9. So, Cameron, he's going the wrong way quick.
I wouldn't totally give up on him yet. He's still within the straightaway of him. It's time to really buckle down and work as hard as you can, but without making mistakes. And a lot of times when you're racing, you make mistakes when you push really hard. You catch those edges. It's a little bit different than outdoor motocross where you can really hang it out. And here you got to be precise at all times. A great run through the whoops there for Windham once again as he's catching up. Looks like a lapper, looks like Mike Brown.
So Mike Brown, the Yamaha rider that sits in between Windham and Chad Reed. And I don't know if that was somewhat of a mirage for Kevin Windham, thinking I'm closing in on the Yamaha rider. Well, it's a Yamaha rider, it's just the wrong one. Mike Brown making the jump up from the 125s. He's in the 250 class. He's been lapped by Chad Reed, and here comes Kevin Windham. So as we take a look at it, it's Reed out in front, Windham trying to close him in. And let's check in with Jamie one more time.
Hey guys, I just got word from Supercross doctors. They just took Langston off the course to check him out. Now, he said that he was complaining of hurting all over, but no specific area. So they're taking him in as a precaution, going to check him out. Hopefully everything's going to come out all right.
All right, thank you, Jamie. Hate to speculate on something like that. Cameron won't, but I tell you, he looked like he took a lot of that force right on that left shoulder.
So brutal landing on the concrete, and you're riding around on 12 to 13 inches of suspension and travel all night long, and all of a sudden you're getting off the bike. You're just kind of feeling weird about flying through the air without the bike, and boom, you land on the concrete. That's a hard way to stop.
That's about an 8-foot drop for Grant Langston. Speed not a big factor for him, but anytime you hit that hard, it's amazing. We wish Grant Langston all the best for a speedy recovery. Hopefully we'll see him in Minneapolis next week. Meanwhile, Chad Reed, number 22, the Australian, continues to lead on board the Yamaha, sponsored by Yamaha and Thor and Scott, getting the job done right now as we slide back. This is the battle for 6th place. There's Michael Byrne right now. He's got his hands full. Looks like with number 28, Heath Voss.
Heath Voss on the Mach 1 No Fear Yamaha going by there, and a great run for Heath Voss, and he's needed to really come up with the result. He's becoming a factor slowly here in the World Supercross points. He's moved up a bit, and with Grant Langston going out, this opens up some doors for those guys that were 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, and Heath Voss is right in that mix, and right now getting past Michael Byrne, that's a huge step for him.
Consistency, such a big factor in Supercross. You got to finish to get the points. And Kevin Windham right there, as he went to the finish line, he came up short and was unable to double, so he had to roll through that, and that gives Chad Reed just a little bit more of a lead as we check back. Nathan Ramsey now getting into it.
So Nate Ramsey, who won the 125 class at the last West race just a week ago, right now challenging on the big bike. Remember, he broke his femur just a year ago, really, and he has confidence. I don't know if something's going on with Michael Byrne here. He just seems to be not as on it as he was. I don't know if it's training. I really don't think so, because Byrne is a great trainer. He has good fitness, and Nate Ramsey going right on by.
So Ramsey picks up a position on Byrne as he goes in to the corner, and Byrne continues to slide backwards. I know something's got to be going on there, whether it's fitness or injury. Here comes Voss one more time, coming up on Nick Way, who currently sits in 5th place. Voss in 6th.
And when I talked to Heath Voss a while back, he told me he has kind of a different riding style than a lot of guys. He's not always just precise. He kind of grew up hanging it out. When he raced in the amateur classes, his dad said, he told me his dad moved him up through the classes really fast. So he always kind of hung it out, never just rode at one level. So that's kind of the way he rides, just going for it all the time.
Heath Voss, number 28 in the Yamaha, coming up on the outside of number 27, Nick Way, shifts back into the inside and hooks up.
Getting to the inside move there, hopping through those whoops. Heath Voss on the move and continuing to rock on through. Coming through a 54.5 for that last lap. So it's a little bit faster than Way, but doing what it takes to move up.
So Nick Way slides back one position in 6th. We'll see if he can move back into a top 5. This is the battle for 5th. Heath Voss, number 28, on board the Yamaha. We saw him earlier in the heat race, really giving the business to some of the other riders. A big, tough kid who knows how to ride the bike. Nick Way now back on the charts, but Way's got a rider coming in right behind him, and that's 25, Nathan Ramsey, coming back for more.
Well, Ramsey definitely could become a factor here moving up into this pack. And, well, you know, one thing about Heath Voss, he's riding out of that semi all by himself. Ezra Lusk breaking a bone in his hand, not able to come back after that crash in the whoops last week. A huge bummer, because Ezra really had been on his game, but I know part of the team, they've been working together, and maybe he's just feeling like, hey, I got to step it up a notch and do it for my teammate.
This is the 250 main event from Reliance Stadium in Houston, Texas. Todd Harris along with Cameron Steele and Jamie Little. We're down to the final 2 laps here. It has been Chad Reed's show all the way. He got the whole shot. Kevin Windham starting to put some pressure on him as Chad Reed has taken the white flag. He is out in front, but it looked like around lap 13 or 14, Cameron, Kevin just ran out of answers for Chad's speed.
Well, maybe just settling. I don't know. It's a long series, but after this, I believe Chad will be at least 25 points or one race ahead in the point series. And you can't let him get a one-race cushion on him. And if nothing happens here that would surprise us, a crash or something from Chad, he's going to move into that position.
Well, Chad Reed never wastes any time, doesn't waste any energy. And you can see just 4 or 5 laps ago, Kevin Windham was within 100 yards. He is now 200 yards back from Chad Reed. Chad will make 2 more turns. There's one of them. And the speed of Reed pays off one more time. He picks up the whole shot, and he picks up his 5th victory this year. Chad Reed, your winner, 250 main event. Kevin Windham will have to settle for 2nd. When we come back, we'll talk to our winner and find out how he did it.